आज का डेट में लगभग 1 out of every 5 deaths is caused by some kind of a heart disease. So as per the latest research literature that is out there, it has repeatedly shown that cardiovascular diseases, like I said, happens to be one of the leading causes of death in the entire world, जो कि 100 साल पहले भी ऐसा केस नहीं था, at least when it comes to reported cases. So now, since this is literally a pandemic in one way or the other, it's very important we take cardiovascular health यानी cardiorespiratory health very seriously. Hey guys, a very warm welcome back to a brand new video of ours. जिस वीडियो में आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे about the second part of the series, how you can reverse your age. So first part में आप देखे थे the differences between chronological age and biological age और कैसे ये biological age का component is under your control depending on what components of fitness you're focusing on. So last part में हम also देखे थे कि strength training का main benefits क्या रहता है when it comes to affecting your biological age and how important factor it is in helping you improve your quality of life. So आज का वीडियो में एक ऐसा component के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे जो कि one of the most neglected components in the entire world which makes it one of the leading causes of death. So if you haven't guessed it already by now, this component is nothing but the cardiorespiratory component of fitness. In order to understand what is cardiorespiratory component of fitness, let us understand the word cardiorespiratory. So the first part of the word cardio comes from your cardiovascular system. So cardiovascular system is nothing but your heart, your blood vessels and your blood.
Do you bleed?
That brings us to the other part, which is the respiratory part, which is nothing but your respiratory system, which mainly comprises of your lungs, your airways, as well as the capillaries that exchange the gases in your body, mainly the carbon dioxide and the oxygen. तो अभी ये दोनों को combine करके होता है आपका cardiorespiratory component of fitness, which is very important to focus on because this is single-handedly one of the systems that starts even before you're born and is with you till the end of your life, literally. So the importance of heart health in general has been shown in a lot of studies across the world about how it can directly affect the quality of life. यानी आज का डेट में लगभग 1 out of every 5 deaths is caused by some kind of a heart disease. So it's very crucial कि हम cardiorespiratory component के ऊपर properly focus करें. Now the question is how and what can we do to improve our cardiorespiratory fitness? So as an exercise professional, these are the very simple tips that you can follow inside the gym or at your home, which will definitely help you maintain a good cardiorespiratory health. First and foremost, let us understand what exactly exercise is in terms of cardio. So cardio का एक और नाम होता है aerobic. So aerobic exercise and cardio exercise is essentially one and the same. And please do not fall for that marketing bullcrap because there is nothing called a separate set of aerobic exercises. In a sense, whenever we defined cardio or aerobic exercise, the definition goes as follows. Aerobic or cardio exercise is defined as any exercise that increases your heartbeat and sustains it for a considerable amount of time. So in a sense, जब भी आप कोई भी activity से exercise कर रहे हो जिससे आपका heartbeat increase हो रहा है, that itself can be called aerobic exercise. So unlike strength training, cardiovascular या aerobic exercise आप जब भी करते हो, you have a lot of options to choose from and you can get really creative here. But not to that level of creativity. What I mean by that is, there are different ways to approach aerobic exercise. In order to understand it from a fundamental standpoint, let us look at this chart in front of us. So on the extreme end, what we have is something we call LISS, which stands for low intensity steady state cardio. And on the other hand, what we have is HIIT, which stands for high intensity interval training. And इसके बीच में जो gap है, that can be filled with something like MISS, which stands for moderate intensity steady state. Now understand that this is just like a scale and there are not only 3 options but multiple options that you can choose from. For example, HIIT और MISS के बीच में there can come MIIT. Similarly, LISS और MISS के बीच में there can come LIIT. So now the thing is, depending on which area you fall under in terms of your physical fitness, you can choose whatever method that you like and whatever method that is sustainable and healthy for you. And in order to understand what is best for you, it is definitely suggested to do these exercises under the guidance of a professional person. Nonetheless, if you do not have access to one, what you can think of it is like LISS is something that is for a very, very long duration, but the intensity is very low. So this can be continued for a very long time. इसका advantage क्या है कि this is very low impact and very easy to do initially. But इसका drawback या सबसे बड़ा जो disadvantage है, that is it has to be performed for an average of minimum 30 minutes to an hour, which is a considerable amount of time given that there are other forms of fitness also that you have to address. So having done with that, who is it beneficial for? It is beneficial for anyone who does not have any prior experience to doing cardio, because the progress in the elevation of heart rate is very gradual. So if you see this graph right here, this is how your heartbeat will progress and plateau out when you are doing LISS. On the contrary, आप जब HIIT करोगे, this is how your heartbeat is gonna pan out to be. So you can see the differences in intensities in either of them. And now you can understand that this amount of work that you are doing within 10 to 15 minutes in HIIT requires such high amount of intensities. So इस end में आप देख पा रहे हो the word HIIT. So HIIT essentially, like I said, stands for high intensity interval training, and the main advantage of this is you get a lot of work done in a very, very short period of time. So that is one of the biggest reasons why if you have some amount of time constraint, these can be the best options. और इसका disadvantage ये है कि this requires a very, very high amount of intensity, which makes it very difficult for people who haven't performed cardio exercises before to perform it right away. And not to mention, there might be risks associated when it comes to people who are already suffering from things like heart diseases, high blood pressure, etc. So whenever you are choosing an exercise like HIIT, please be careful and please understand the limitations of your body and go ahead with it. Now, summing it up, when it comes to effectiveness, दोनों ही HIIT और LISS and everything in between is equally effective in terms of fat loss, in terms of cardio output, as well as in terms of energy burning capacity. But like I said, the main thing that should matter to you कि ये कंटेनर में आप कहाँ fit होते हो, and accordingly you should choose something that is best suited for you in the long run. So now, you being the best judge, you can subject yourself to either of them and then find out which one is most suitable and doable for you in the long run. But having said that, if you have to take my advice, I would suggest anyone who's having very, very little experience, or anyone who's suffering from any heart conditions or say conditions like high blood pressure, etc., you guys should experiment with the low intensity set of cardio exercises first. After that, gradually, once you feel more confident, once you feel your performance is improving, you can definitely move on to the higher intensities of cardio, as well as things like HIIT, which is high intensity training, or CrossFit oriented stuff like workout of the days. These are excellent in order to burn calories in a very short amount of time, as well as get your heart rate peaked up as soon as possible without having to do it for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. So जब भी आप कोई लॉन्ग ड्यूरेशन में एरोबिक एक्सरसाइज या कार्डियो एक्सरसाइज करते जाते हो, फिजियोलॉजिकल लेवल में आपका हार्ट में चेंजेस आते हैं, which helps in either of these two things. First and foremost, it literally helps the heart beat much efficiently. As a result, आपका जो resting heart rate रहता है वो drop हो जाता है, which indirectly also affects your resting blood pressure. So, in a sense, having a good heart health means your heart becomes much more efficient in carrying the day-to-day activities, as well as in any activities which you like to perform recreationally, or even if you are involved in sports. So, ये सब मिला के, if you are someone in your late 50s, in your late 60s who's not focusing on your heart health, this single factor alone can reduce your biological age up to 10 years, and researchers have shown this over and over again. So ये point छोड़ के भी एक और जो बहुत important outcome होता है, that is your overall calorie burning potential increases through exercises like aerobic exercises as compared to any other formats. So right now you guys understand कि fat loss मतलब cardio, this is completely a myth, ये सच है नहीं, but फिर भी cardiovascular exercise से आप most amount of calories in a duration of time बहुत अच्छे से burn कर सकते हो, जो आप खाली strength training से नहीं burn कर सकते हो. That is why at least I, on a personal level, am a big endorser of both strength as well as cardio and put them equally on a pedestal and not one over the other. So now ये सब छोड़ के भी अभी आप देख सकते हो कि कितना सारा benefits है of having a good cardiovascular health. So before you reap the benefits of all these advantages that you will get, make sure you start off with your cardio exercises right away. So having said that, guys, I really hope you found this video helpful and you understood the importance of having a good cardiorespiratory health. And if you did, do share it with your friends and family and also let them in on the importance of this component of fitness and help them reverse their biological age. Having said that, guys, this is your coach Promit Shome signing off for the week. See you all again next week with another cool video. So the interesting part is this very definition of mobility is not the same for you and I. What might be important for me in terms of movement potential might not be necessary for you. So that is why mobility is very subjective and ये जो joints का range of motion का requirement होता है, that is also very subjective depending on situation to situation and individual to individual. However, having a good range of motion has never hurt someone. So professionally speaking, maintaining a decent range of motion in very important joints is equally important in order to lead a good quality of life. Let us take a very small example to understand this better.